to it. Finally, Monday has come back. Oh my goodness. Pull up a microphone, get comfortable. You know what it is. Let's get to it, y'all. Woo. Listen, this is 155. Can y'all believe it? 155. Oh my goodness. Good morning, good evening, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the legendary New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Elemen2al. Happy Monday. This is the jump off. Let's go. You know what it is, baby. Again, 155 weeks we've been doing this now, y'all. 155. Oh my goodness. We do this every Monday, streaming live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. All right, live on Facebook, on YouTube and Twitter. If you're watching on one of these streams right now and you would like to join us in the Zoom, the number is on your screen, 279-995-364. Listen, jump into the community, interact with these poets. You will hear me say this multiple times tonight. This is the greatest community in the world. For real. Jump in, join the folks. It goes down in here, believe me. All right, we do this thanks to some dedicated folks who pay these bills. So we'd like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for hosting our free online events. You can add your energy to the mix with a tax-deductible donation by going to neweurekan.org/contribute or by hitting the Cash App at $ New Eurekan Poets Cafe. All right. Make sure you are plugging in with the one and only Ron Mark Thompson, aka RMT. You're not down with RMT by now, damn it. You should be. All right, this is where you can find me, elemental.com. I'm all over the place, man. Plug in, so many things going on. All right, tonight's theme, the art of storytelling. Oh, messages through time. I've really been looking forward to this one. You know, so many things, like I said last week, so many things that kind of dictate how we do things is a message from centuries ago. So I'm looking forward to how you want to contribute to what we do in the future. All right. Next week's theme coming at y'all. The elixir of mischief. All right. Bottle senses. Okay. Really, this is about pour your poison. You know what I mean? What do you dig? What's your mix? You know what I mean? Are you a light person, a dark person? Are you a pairing type of person? You know, you got to have this wine with this protein, this glass with this glass. You know what I mean? it's not just about being inebriated, right? But there's a science to the elixir of mischief and why it does different proofs and things like that. So, and you know, why some people call it courage juice. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking forward to hearing what all of you incredible poets come up with for next week. Let's get to this so we can get to the poetry. All right, let's get to the rules, of course. Damn it, yeah, we got some here too. Poets, turn your cameras on. We are trying to simulate a live open mic as much as possible. Plus, we love to see all of the beautiful expression that goes into your poetry delivery and the backgrounds, all right? Also, change your Zoom name if you like to coincide with your social media handles that you would like to share with the people so they can plug in with you, all right? So yeah, turn your camera on so we can see all of the magic happening. As you're doing that, please have your poem ready. All right. If you're going analog, dog ear the page if necessary. If you got a digital file, pull it up, have it ready to rock. If you're using music, which is absolutely cool, make sure it's original music. We don't want the agents of the interweb interfering with our uploads because of some copyright madness. So please, original music only. All right. Poets, you have 3 minutes to rock. All right. Any language, any style, any form. All right. Give you quickly got a 30-second intro. Let the folks know where they can connect with you, how they can follow you, how they can plug into all the things that you do. And make sure you do that. Also, make sure you are putting your information in the chat, whether before or after you get down, so people can copy and paste. All right. This is really, really about community. All right. So we want to make sure we get to everyone. All right. So please try to keep that 3 minutes in mind. All right. Again, I don't no problem going over, but keep that 3 minutes in mind, folks, for real. All right. We have reached night 9:30 for the babies, folks. There are some explicit lyricists in this community. Whew. And there are some powerful memories that will be brought up this evening. All right. Flashbacks can be very triggering. All right. Freedom of speech was such a major proponent of the founders of the cafe, and we will make sure it continues to flow in all the veins of what we do. Therefore, there is no censorship other than any hate speech or any ism that people may use to manipulate people, which will not be tolerated. There is no censorship. All right. And listen, I'm warning you now. All right. There's some folks in this building that's going to do some things to you because, you know, we kind of do this thing with these words. All right. They will come for you this evening. Prepare yourself. Truly. All right. This is truly a call and response space, folks. After the poet rips their arteries open, their hearts open, their memories open, you will see this pop up on your screen. This is where you get a chance to share this energy with the poet, share this energy with the room, right? I always say all the energy that you give to the poet, they will give back to you in their poetic performance, all right? Don't worry about the noise, y'all. It's Monday night. It's the rowdiest night of the week, all right? So unmute yourself. Be as loud as possible. Make sure the poets know that you're in the building and you feel what they're doing, all right? It makes a difference. All right, sign up tonight is closed. Sign up begins 24 hours before the show. All right, you go to newyourekan.org. You click on full events calendar. You want to click on the Monday night that you want to perform on. You need an artist RSVP ticket. It's the only way that you can get on the guaranteed list. And these tickets will not populate until 24 hours before the show. All right. Cafe is back open, folks. All right. They worked out the details. So the cafe is back open. So all the things are back on the menu. Of course, the open mic happening in the brick and mortar hosted by Soul going down. If you're in the building, anywhere near the area, plug in. It's going down. Also, the Wednesday night slam hosted by La Bruja coming back at you. Also, this Thursday, the Women's Orator Writing Workshop hosted by Peggy Robles Alvarado. Listen, if you don't know Peggy, definitely check into this. You're definitely going to get something out of the workshop. Also, of course, coming up on Thursday, Thunder Lung Thursdays. You know what we do. You know how it goes. Make sure you're plugging in with the Queen Ray Jane. And Friday night with Jive. Listen, telling you, if you're about that slam life, all right, it goes down. So if you about them scores, man, get down with it, all right? Tonight's list, folks. Tonight's list, full of color, full of great voices, and I am looking forward to each and every one of them. There's all my rowdy friends here on Monday night. Woohoo! What's good, everybody? I missed all y'all, man. For real, I love seeing all of your magnificent faces show up every Monday. So, you've heard my voice enough. Let's get to it. Here's the list. Let's jump it off. Coming up first this evening, this cat has been known to be one of those fire spitters, right? Because he's always got a rhyme in line with what he's going to rhyme with the next line. The one and only Eddie Poetastic. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know how they can plug into all of your poetasticness, man. Floor is yours. Take it away. Set it off.
Thank you. Woo! I love your energy. I'm glad you're loving my poetry. Thank you, my bro, like no other with whirly lightning and thunder. Thank you for making our Mondays more happier and sunnier. Hello, my name is Ed Potastic, and I'm feeling fantastic. Please give me time to go join my rhyme fall for sublime. I got one poem, so you know it's gonna rhyme. This is called The Sandy Hourglass. Time won't give me time, and time makes lovers feel like they got something real, but you and me, we know we got nothing but time. But time won't give me time. Ooh, won't give me time. Oh, the sands of time, you're such a scary thing. Seeing our prime is sneaky crime. Only our nostalgic tattoos sing. Oh, time, please don't turn that page. I don't want change. No more new shade for this decade. No new stage in this complex cage. Oh, time, why can't you be kind? You always flow through our hands. Every time we're first, we are behind. Only markers can be found throughout the lands. Oh, time, please don't be that way. Memory seems to fade away. Too much time to work then play. Why can't the good times stay? Oh, time, why do you play hardball? Why can't things stay the same? Why must you keep breaking the iron wall? What is proclaimed by playing this game? Oh, time, why do you play tag? Why do you run quicker than a flash? Why do you win when you nag? Why can't the good days or nights last? Oh, time, why do you have to grow up? Why do we have to grow up? Why can't we dream inside our cocoons? Why can't we drink out our invisible cups? Why can't we travel to the stars and moon? Oh, time, why do you run away? Why can't you feed our hourglass? We hopefully pray every single day. We hope to complete our personal task. Oh, time, could we be friends? Could you stay by our side? Please, let's make a peaceful amends. Let's not side or divide that our faulty past has died. Oh, time, it's not your fault. We can never control you. Our stories or glories can't be halt. If we can't live, then who? Thank you.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Eddie came to do it this evening, y'all. I don't know if y'all realize that Eddie came to do it, but Eddie came to set it off this evening. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Eddie Foreman.
Yeah. Thank you. Gotta love this open mic that makes money. So
Nice to meet
you. Know it. Listen, that's what I'm talking about, Eddie. That's how you set it off this evening. Listen, there was a lot of in there, Eddie, but there was a line right there, and I was like, man, I don't know. Do you know what you came upon? He said, why can't you feed our hourglasses? Yeah, I'll let that sit there. Appreciate you, Eddie, for setting it off this evening. All right, I warned y'all the fire is happening. The Starship has left the building. We are in motion. However, the next poet on the list did let me know that he would not be able to make it this evening, but I left his name on there anyway, so all of us could send any positive, powerful vibes toward Rich Glennon. All right, he will not be able to make it this evening, but he said he will definitely see us on Thursday. So hope all is well, Rich Glennon. We'll see you next week. All right. So coming up next, listen, this gentleman right here. I don't know if we're gonna hear his voice this week. Hopefully. Okay, fantastic. I always say, I hope your medulla is strapped on tight because he's about to oblongata with everything that comes out of his mouth, folks. It is time for our Tez Talk. The one and only Mr. Teza Somog is in the building. Unmute yourself, sir. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Take it away. Good to see you.
All right, thank you, folks. Folks can catch me on Instagram under Gaseous2019 and pick up a copy of my latest piece of work on Amazon. And please do write me a review. I'm going to continue with something I started on Thursday, which was the con of conservatism, part 2. I don't think I got enough of it or something. The con of conservatism is that it is more a disposition and an attitude than a fully fledged philosophical doctrine. The con of conservatism is it's the application of abstract values applied to preservation of constitutions, political institutions, statutory rights, and social values. The con of conservatism is that there are no teleological goals, no meta-universal theories, eternal truths, but rather piecemeal pragmatism of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Here meaning if it works for us, we don't care about you. The con of conservatism is that it has no backbone. It is self-serving. It has abandoned classical inalienable rights. It is Marxist in its distribution of wealth, and usually for themselves. The con of conservatism is that it's abandoned Aristotle's distributive justice of equals should be treated equally and unequals unequally. But rather, all must be reduced to the monetarist economic policy with low business and tax regulation and minimal welfare expenditures, the dismal science of extracting off the back of the masses. The con of conservatism is that it's abandoned the doctrine of liberalism with its essentialist separation of the branches of government, feigned separation of church and state, and open, free, but not open, free voter registration, and fair elections, but unfair access to polling booths. Finally, jettison the republic as a political philosophy, but it was never the republic of Plato or Cicero. The con of conservatism is that it's no longer the Yankee Doodle Dandy or the Dixieland written on a cold, rainy March morning in New York, 1859. That stuff's made in New York City. Written for the black-faced minstrel shows later in 1861, adapted in the South as the anthem of the Confederate States. The con of conservatism is that they've been playing the same old black-faced minstrel song and dance since they played Dixieland at the inauguration of Jefferson Davis as the president of the Confederate States. The con of conservatism is that paradoxically and erroneously, these principles are attached to the Declaration of Independence via the Federalist Papers, while their utility is merely doubling down on the lack of evolutionary utility. The con of conservatism is that while it bolsters pragmatism and adaptability, it has paradoxically abandoned it, becoming unmalleable, stuck in the past, using self-serving dogma for justification, contradicting, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But even if it's broken, don't fix it. Because it's un-American.
He damn sure did that. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Mr. Tesla.
And that about sums it up. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man.
That last time
un-American.
You know what I mean? I mean, this is America. Last time we checked. Listen, I love that. I mean, listen, I warned y'all. I warned y'all that this gentleman was going to do this, right? He mentioned they're Marxists in their distribution of wealth. Come on, right? Unfair access to voting booths. Come on. Written for the black-faced minstrel show. Come on. If you don't know about the Federalist Papers, make sure you look into those. All right, do some research because this gentleman will always give you something that you can research on. Make sure you do. Thank you, Mr. Tez, for being here. Another incredible poem. Told y'all, he is not your damn chihuahua, but he is one incredible poet. All right, coming up next, I believe we have a tag team jump off this evening. So let's get to it. Coming up first, our usual lead off hitter is in the building, ready to make contact as always, the one and only Deadpan Lizzie. And this next gentleman is listen, he has just come around. He is just, again, I keep saying he may be part blacksmith. I don't know, but Daniel Fernandez is in the building. Him and Deadpan are about to do something incredible. I don't know if we're ready for it, but it's going down. Take it away, folks.
Hey, beanie blessings to you all, Nancho, in the community, and Daniel. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, set it off, poet.
All right, this one is called Masterclass. Sending messages through time like a pigeon, erasing my name to avoid suspicion. Let the heart bleed as emotions are written, blending hate and love, although it's forbidden. In addition, don't be let down by repetition, a routine that creates tunnel vision. Enjoy life and go on an expedition. Optimism has the power to readmission.
We must learn from history, but not repeat it. 9 words I have never completely understood, a panku before my time. If we do not step in through our ancestors' footprints, how do we leave our own imprints?
Mistakes is another word for experience. Some of us break down and build an emotional fence, as in self-defense to shield the damage when living becomes intense. Poking a stick into the future, scared of what's next. We move on forward because it's called progress. Stress is normal, stand clear of the effects. Living is complex, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Once you taste success, that's when you watch your footsteps.
Society will continue to toggle through psychology and sociology, either digging for fossils to run our minds over as the debris went to cling to the bones, stories that were left for us to turn into our own poems, prompts to bleed with, keep in our back pockets when the world becomes too much. But when will the universe never not be a challenging puzzle? Are the traces of our genealogy the pieces we need to complete our tropes that may never dock?
Trying to find my purpose, but it's like MH370, soul searching like those who are chasing a degree, venting as the ink switches places with my heart, letting empathy cry as the days go dark, writing a book to see if anyone notices. It took pain to unravel my motive. Lizzie is right. Society wraps around our heads like a turban as the internet exposes reality like an open curtain. We live and evolve, but learn to adapt. Just follow that or else it'll be worse than Thanos' snap. Sitting on a chair with a pen in my hand, writing and writing until my mind understands. Legs crossed while my elbow expands, flipping through pages as long as my fingers can withstand. The bliss it develops, the passion comes to light, protects like an umbrella only when the spirit can't fight. Breathing and enjoying it like a spoon of Nutella. Sending signals, but not like an antenna. You can open a heart with a sheet of paper, save a life like a prayer, clean the imperfections with that special eraser, piss off the devil by showing you care, ponder and wander as voices discuss, finish a poem and I'm like a kid during Christmas, excited like a dog after a biscuit, adding secrets so that some lines are ambiguous.
How do you finish a poem? It will never be possible, given art can never be fully completed. The beauty of crafting words, colors, and numbers into a piece or set. We watch them marinate, but does this not mean the flavors, hues, and formulas will taste great? The equations of a recipe can never be exact, so why we bother extracting until the salt has been cooked down into our canvases and pens that are stuck to the frying pan left to taste, like burnt flour, flavorless and certainly not presentably polished, because the meals that we devour are the ones we do not overthink. A bagel with avocado, salt, and pepper from a local bodega can just be as satisfying as a 9-course meal we exhaust ourselves over. We can make choices 24/7, even in our dreams. Our stories always come from our hearts. We simply throw some shimmer and gloss over them with our brains. But what if we all walked around with our legends without makeup? Would we be nicer to each other? Could we be more adaptable to society? Should we want to be? Our 4 modern-day Haggadah questions for the Seder or order of open mics, which will always be a masterclass. of storytelling. Thank you, Jeannie Blessing.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. It will be a masterclass on storytelling. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Deadpan
Great
Lizzie.
collaboration. That was so nice. Oh,
Thank you for
y'all
collaborating,
fit
Daniel. It
together
was my
nicely.
Right,
That was
collab,
really
sweet.
good.
Lovely. You guys are
Nice
amazing.
work.
What a beautiful way to collaborate all the time. Great.
Great pair.
It was really fun to work with
Great
Daniel. I
poetic pair.
highly recommend
Yeah.
anyone collaborate with him.
I appreciate it.
This is what I'm talking about, folks. This is why I say it's the greatest community in the world, right? Because I know, right? I know both of these poets, and they didn't know each other a year ago, right? And now here they are writing incredible work together. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Daniel, for firing up all the burners, right? Even though your pen's stuck in the damn fryer, right? In the frying pan. Listen, we are always here for whatever you are going to dish up, because it's always flavorful. It always hits, right? I love when Daniel said the ink switches places with my heart, right? Save a life like a prayer, right? Listen, the psychology and sociology, I mean, come on. Like y'all speak so many languages in that. And I appreciate y'all for going all the way through with it, right? And like you said, it's a masterclass. So thank you for bringing it to us this evening. Woo! All right, let me just shout out a couple folks before we move on. I saw Melinda Lucas was in the building. Always appreciate you for coming through. Just saw Serene come in. Appreciate you for being here. I saw the Jedi Master. Is he still in the building? Of course he is. Paul Skiff is in the building. Listen, Jedi Master is you don't know the Jedi Master? Plug in. Marsha Rivera slipped in. Always good to see Marsha. My man Poet Top from Japan is watching on YouTube, man. Appreciate you. You know where it's at. All right, let's get back to this real quick. Coming up next, I mentioned blacksmiths, and this gentleman just happens to be one, because I'm telling you, his pen just stays so sharp, and he's always coming with it. A legend in our community, the one and only Michael Sindler. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online, where they can find what you need online.
Okay.
Floor is yours. Take it away.
Where what they need. Thank you, Elemental. As always, yeah, what we're referring to is lighthousewriters.org, which is a wonderful, wonderful organization full of classes and workshops and events and all kinds of things for any writer at any stage, and in any genre, something there to help you out. I want to just say that, today there's just so much as far as, things all sort of overlapping. We're still in the midst of Women's History Month, and so I can't not say something about that. It's also the equinox, so we're popping into spring, and tomorrow is International Poetry Day. So I'm going to try and get in something to do something about that. First of all, of course, though, I want to do something for the women, and this is called crone stew. And it's a recipe. What you want to combine the ingredients into a melange and let bake until perfect. Take sweetness of youth, unblemished innocence, let marinate and praise. Place in airtight container and fridge until puberty. Transfer to bowl. Add sour taste of adolescent competition and body dysmorphia. Sprinkle in advertising images of impossible Photoshop goals. Toss in bitterness over missed opportunities lost to less qualified, condescending males making more money doing less work. Splash in spicy hot rage over patriarchal inequality, negotiating for basic services, including healthcare. Season with salty tears of self-recrimination fermented from years of gaslighting. Finish with savory satisfaction, looking back at what you have overcome to be awesome. Enjoy while others eat crow. And moving from that, like I say, I want to do one for this coming of spring, and it's called Equinox. The first light ray of equinox thrusts itself over the rounded dome of floating globe, slowly creeping across corrugated surface. Plum shadows lengthen and narrow as thick amber oozes from the east. Perfect harmony of time and season's thrall. All nature wakes becalmed, breathing deep, final guarded gasp of cruel winter. Lips expel the last chill song, morn's warmth caresses creation. Next inhalation swallows new year whole, holy communion of buds, grains, and grasses, vibrating growth, spurt, catalyst ignites, gelled essence of sap, sun sings flame to ring and flow, kindled waft ripens into spring. And lastly, like I say, it is tomorrow International Poetry Day. And so this is a sonnet called Poem Boxing. Completely willing to risk a defeat, consenting to play by rules of the game, jumping in the ring with iambic feet, not seeking glory and immune to shame. 14 savage lunges towards the page, 10 quick paces forward in each attack. No foe or enemy there to engage, only mirror image staring back. Ink in place of blood flows onto paper in 3 full rounds and then one that's shorter. True poet or presumptuous faker? It's hard to tell before the Volta. Success or failure, it's your call to make. The poet's task is only to create. Okay, thank you all very much.
Oh, yes, he did say that. Come on. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Michael Sindler.
Michael, yeah.
As always.
Awesome.
Oh,
That was great.
telling y'all, I don't know. I don't know if he's part blacksmith. I don't know if he lives next door to a blacksmith. I don't know, but his pen is always so damn sharp. For real. I don't know how you don't rip up your pages with what you do, man. Thank you for coming through, Michael. You know what? Your poems, man, for real. I love that. He said mix until puberty and then add it to a bowl. Yeah, man, like it does feel like that, right? Just a crazy cocktail of chaos. And I, you know, listen, I'm a spring baby, so you know the equinox coming around always energizes me. My birthday is coming, so I love that. So I appreciate that. And the sun sings flames. Come on. I saw a couple of people jump in with iambic feet. Come on, man. If you don't know Michael Sindler, you should probably plug in the Lighthouse Writers because you may pick up a few things. All right. Thank you, Michael, for being a valued member of our community. All right. Coming up next, I haven't seen this cat in a while. I get to yell at him, but kind of. This dude is always on point with what he does, and he's just kind of cool with it too. The one and only Mr. Speaker is in the building. Stand at the position of attention when you talk to this cat. Listen, man, let the folks know where they can find you online, man. It's always good to see you, bro. Take it away.
Let's go. Poetry. Little Africa, storytelling. Allow me, come, go with me as I take you back in time and provide you with some knowledge. See, baby, I'm gonna tell you about a place you're just not gonna hear about while attending college. The time was 1870 to 1921 for your historical notation, and the north side of Tulsa, Oklahoma is the actual recorded location. See, North Tulsa was called Little Africa, as this name marked praise. The most affluent Black community in America. The witnesses were amazed. Jim Crow laws created all Black communities. See, you cannot deny this. And right down racial lines was how the United States was divided. Tulsa, Oklahoma was separated by the Arkansas River, but not equal by any tale. See, the white side was not nearly as prosperous, while the Black community completely excelled. Little Africa contained Black doctors, politicians, or barons and PhDs. All Black businesses, farms, schools, and many Black attorneys, Black-owned restaurants, grocery stores, libraries, movie theaters, and places to sleep. So many prosperous businesses that Greenwood Avenue was called Black Wall Street. Yes, Black Wall Street, because see, that's just how much money flowed. I'm not making this up, it's research, and it's the truth. History holds. Nepotism kept the money circulating within the community, even for loans. Everyone purchased from their neighbor, which kept the money coming right back home. Brotherly love and altruism were practiced, while crimes were very low. Morals were taught to all, and children actually did what they were told. Neighbors volunteered to help other neighbors in times of trouble. City families had about 5 children, while farming families had about double. White coal miners came to North Tulsa to work 72-hour-long shifts as well. So they too helped the pockets of these Black businesses to swell. In the 1800s, Little Africa had its own transportation system to assist them all. Blacks kept to themselves, took care of each other so no citizen would fall. From Greenwood Avenue to Archer and Pine Streets, life was prosperous and grand. And if you take the first letters of those streets, G-A-P, you will see that is where they got the name for the Gap Band. Shouts out to Uncle Charlie. By 1921, there were over 100 Black millionaires, 6 even on airplanes. Black Wall Street was thriving and looking for more financial gain. But on the South Side, whites lived below the poverty line. And white servicemen returning from World War I, well, they also fell on hard times. So what happened to Little Africa, one might say? Well, the Ku Klux Klan decided they were going to take that prosperity away. So on the 1st of June, 1921, envy, greed, and jealousy took control, and the Black Holocaust in America was about to unfold. This race riot was one of the most violent ever carried out on American people. It was the largest massacre of non-military Americans in history with no recorded equal. Within hours, hundreds of Black-owned businesses destroyed on the north side of town. 3,000 men, women, and children dead, hundreds could not be found. Hundreds of homes and farms lit up the skies as they were burned to the ground, while good, white, Christian families just watched and stood around while all these homes were burned to the ground. Little Africa was unlawfully lynched as this massacre went for 72 hours and from yard to yard until the white sheriff sent his Black deputy to call out the state's National Guard. The National Guard came to prevent the loss of more innocent lives, as death is what they saw. And the first order of business was to establish and enforce martial law. They stopped the killings, area bombings, disarmed and sent the Klan home while doing their jobs. But they failed to prevent hundreds of businesses, dozens of grocery stores, churches, restaurants, hundreds of homes and farms, 2 movie theaters, banks, schools, pawn shops, jewelry stores, and even a hospital laid in the wake of this hateful and angry mob. Restitutions never happened. Insurance claims dishonored and Black voices silenced. Mass graves around this city hid this act of complete and senseless violence. Impact: today, African Americans have little nepotism, and we've lost a lot of our financial power. We seldom support each other, and our money can leave the community within about a couple of hours. So consider this your history lesson for today. And do not underestimate your economic might, because baby, if you don't honor and protect what you have, it could be gone overnight. In peace.
Oh man, Uncle Charlie. Oh, mute yourself. Give it up for Mr. Speaker.
Read that every week.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Such a powerful story. If you're not up on Black Wall Street, or like you mentioned, Little Africa, make sure you plug in. All right, it is happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, it's real deal stuff, right? Do your own research, right? Talk about the Black Holocaust in America. All right, do your own research. Mass graves around the city. Come on, man. Right? This is fact, not fiction. Right? Do your research. Appreciate you, Mr. Speaker, for coming through with that truth. Always appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, a newer member of our community, but I see he has got bitten by the Monday night bug. It is good to see you. Unmute yourself. Mr. Kyle Studstill is back in the building. Let's do it. Let the folks know where they can find you online, man. Good to see you. Take it away.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so IG handle in my name here, studstill.words. If you'll on there, you'll see me talking a lot about a group I've been working with the Poetry Society of New York, hosts the big poetry festival every year on Governor's Island. So, a lot of really, awesome things that they're building under their umbrella, connecting a bunch of communities. And glad to be a part of this one. Yeah, I realized Elemen2al, like I'd done a lot like prior to your tenure, and then I, disappeared for quite a while. And so, I'm glad to be back. So that's like 30 seconds. Now it's just time for the poetry. It begins. There's only one way to grow, and that's straight up into more wild heights, more dizzying inflorescence. From there, you'll stand taller, but between the selves that you were and the taller selves you become, there is an entire vertigo of colors, and no one knows their names. There's the milky gravity of remorse. There is swift, soft blue self-forgiveness, always moving like the river at your feet. There's a lucid pink optimism, lightheartedness dancing beneath the ribs, and there's the rich dye of regret woven in all the places between. You'll have to feel them if you've hurt people in your life, and it will happen. We will hurt others from places we believe are beautiful, places that we can't look around and recognize for what they are. And in that velvet dark, like me, you'll pull at the strings of everything around you. You'll see reminders, photos on the wall, and try to tear those photos down and find that there are still images staying deep beneath, because no one forgets when you've hurt them. You'll walk towards a new beautiful place and scrape your skin along the way. You'll hurt yourself, you'll hurt others, but I have optimism that is for you. For you, the person who needs to feel the bark burning, scalding, forest fire pain of accountability, you will lose yourself, parts of yourself to the fire, because there's only one way to grow, and it's up. This optimism is for you. And I get it. No one likes to hear these things. So if you don't hear it yet, just pretend I'm saying it to myself. It goes like this. Kyle, it's hard to hear your own shortcomings said to you in such a straightforward way, but it's only because I can see them and say it to you that I can forgive you. Kyle, I want to live in a world in which we are all allowed to have shortcomings. I want to live in a world in which we're all deserving of love, and so deserving of shortcomings. Kyle, if you were to never change a single thing, I forgive you, because I want to look at people who hurt others and say that they deserve love. They deserve the space to hurt others in the way that they have been let down themselves. They deserve the opportunity to look at that closely. And I don't know if you'll do it, but I really hope you will. And I forgive you because you have that hope, because I have that hope. Thank you.
My goodness, he said, I forgive you because you have that hope. Oh my goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Kyle Stoster.
Yeah, glad you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't stay away.
Listen, I love when people do this. And I'll explain this. The first, time that we heard Kyle, he was there. He's like, all right. And this evening, I think you kind of moved into that dizzying fluorescence that you talked about. An entire vertigo of colors. No one knows their names. Right. Clearly you do, because you exist in that realm. So thank you for coming through with that magical piece. Man, yeah, make sure you keep coming through, all right? A mainstay of our community now. See you next week. All right, coming up next. I love when this poet comes through, I truly do. She doesn't always grace us with her work, but she always graces us with her presence. I couldn't be happier to introduce the one and only Mia Aguilera in the building. Oh, let the folks know where they can find you, Mia. Great to hear you. Always good to see you. Take it away.
Good to see you too, Elemen2al, and everyone here as well. You can find me on Instagram at Mia Sochi. I'll put it in the chat. This poem is called Happy New Year. 5 years ago, I met you and you were unremarkable. What has brought me to this beginning? Facing a firing squad made of many Mias aiming rifles at my thin frame. It must have been the many times you wrote and then erased lines from your poems. It was the strawberry fields forever you whispered across the sales floor. I suffered from a 3-month-long fever. In February, it rains instead of snows. My backyard, a forlorn, muddy place, I fill with figurines so there is some semblance of companionship. I count the windy days in March. Grape hyacinths pushing up from cold earth, and still I want to hear my name rush from your mouth. The crows walk the branch outside my window and laugh. One Thursday afternoon, I almost kissed you. I gathered the shards of my mind and sewed them into a quilt. Your whiteness is violence, and I compose a list of insults to call myself for ignoring it. I smell cigarette smoke on you for the first time 4 months after I stopped speaking to you. I fill my days with Patti LaBelle, belting out I've got a new attitude, carve out my anger and replace it with empowerment, hope that the bruteness of seeing your face turns into the tide leveling sand, and I will wake up in an empty house, unable to remember. How much time will I have to measure? I tell my therapist this fixation wouldn't have happened if I had gone on a few dates, exchanged drunk kisses on a perfect September night. On a spring walk, I rip purple crocus from the ground and eat the flowers. I open my mouth and bees fly out. Thank you.
Unmute yourself, give it up for Mia.
Yeah, Mia, right on.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Beautiful.
I opened my mouth and bees fly out.
Right, Gustav? Right, right. Oh my goodness, Mia. It's always a pleasure to hear your work. Listen, she said strawberry fields forever. For y'all that don't know it's a song, look it up. It's quite engaging. And then she brought it back with the music and said, I fill my days with Patti LaBelle. She has a new attitude. That's what I'm talking about, Mia, right? To go back a little bit, she said she fills her backyard with figurines, so she has some semblance of companionship, right? And now with that new attitude, you don't have to go around exchanging drunk kisses, right? You get the people that you want, who you deserve and deserve you. Thank you, Mia, for coming through, sharing that incredible work with us. Make sure you're plugging in with Mia. They take some pretty cool pictures. Wait until the seasons change. They're going to get even better. Appreciate you, Mia. All right, coming up next, this gentleman right here. I'm telling you, ever since this cat has joined our community, he has kept his energy at this level. And he continues to push it like his needle is just like ready to kick out the door. The one and only, all the gusto. Gustav Salas is in the building. The Magus has arrived. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you, man. Take it away, Gustav.
Hey, Elemental. Hey, beloved poets. I'm going to get right to it because I'm right up on the time limit. Here we go. This is a message across time, the legend of the Battle of Pelusium. I have a little tale about the Battle of Pelusium, the decisive battle between the Achaemenid Empire of Cambyses II and Egypt in 525 BC. The Achaemenid Empire routed the Egyptian pharaoh Amasis II and established the 27th dynasty, known as the First Egyptian Satrapy. Egypt became a province of Persia. The battle was fought near Pelusium, 25 miles south of the modern Port Said. Polyaenus, a historian and retired Macedonian general, thought to be more interested in novelty than in historical accuracy, writes that Cambyses captured Pelusium employing a clever strategy. You see, the Egyptians regarded cats as being sacred. Bastet and Sekhmet were Egyptian cat goddesses, and under no circumstances could an Egyptian injure a cat. Polyaenus claims that Cambyses had his men carry cats in the front of the attack. Polyaenus is describing an early form of psychological warfare. The Egyptians held their arrows for fear of harming the sacred cats. In the heat of the battle, the pussy wall held strong, while up from the rear the spearmen came, Egyptians slain. Pelusium was taken. The historian Ctesias claims 50,000 Egyptians died, and Herodotus says skulls littered the Nile Delta as far as the eye could see. The Egyptians were undone by their own gods, and the cats had the last laugh. This, my friends, is franglais, langue d'amour, the language of love. Bon, alors, allons-y. J'ai habité à Paris 1977-78 dans la banlieue à Neuilly-sur-Seine, tout près du bois de Boulogne. J'avais 12 ans et 13 ans quand j'y étais. Je suivais les cours dans un lycée français, le lycée Saint-James. C'était un château de chasse de François Ier. J'avais une petite amie française qui s'appelait Karine Nevejean. Elle adorait les mathématiques et moi, je l'aimais. C'était Karine qui m'a introduit à Pink Floyd Animals une journée quand on a fumé le hashish, moi pour la première fois. Elle m'a donné ma première baiser cette journée aussi, sa bouche tendre et attrayante. And the rocket's red glare. Je ne t'oublierai jamais, Karine. Merci, ma chère belle-fille. Okay, let's go. I lived in Paris, France from 1977 to 78 in the suburbs of Neuilly-sur-Seine, very close to the Bois de Boulogne. I was 12 and 13 years old when I lived there. I was a student at a French lycée, the Lycée Saint-James. It was on the grounds of François I's hunting chateau. I had a girlfriend named Karine Nevejean. She adored mathematics and I adored her. It was Karine who introduced me to Pink Floyd Animals one day when we smoked hashish, me for the first time. She gave me my first real kiss, her mouth tender and inviting. Allons, enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. I will never forget, Karine. Thank you, ma chère belle-fille. Thank you.
And that is all kinds of unfair that cat flipped it in French. God damn. Unmute yourself, give it up for Gus Solid.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bringing out the lingo. Taking us overseas.
Merci,
Taking us
merci.
with the eloquent language.
Listen, I warned y'all at the beginning, you never know what you're gonna get with this community. All right. It's just, gosh, that came out of nowhere. The first piece, though, listen, there's a lot of history in that, right? A lot of numbers, a lot of names in there, right? But listen, do your own research. Again, I'm gonna keep saying that. All right, do your own research. One of my favorite lines in there, he said it was a psychological warfare, right? And they were undone by their own gods. But the cat's got the last laugh. And then in your French piece, she said she was into math, but you were into her. That's how you end up getting that kiss, homie, because you weren't worried about the numbers. Appreciate you, Gustav, with all the gusto coming through every week. Make sure you are plugging in with the Megas all they do, man. That cat's dope. All right, coming up next, listen, continue to talk about this poet because, you know, their superpowers are just kind of everywhere. They make so many ways for so many people. All right, there's members of our community that will be plugging in with them very soon and getting down on their platform. The one and only daughter of Krypton is in the building. Unmute yourself. Finn Bell is here. Let the folks know where they can find you online, how they plug into all your incredible work. Floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Elemental. You could find me on Instagram, Finn_Bell. I'm going to share, because it's storytelling tonight, a older piece of mine. It is a little longer, so I'm going to just read an excerpt of it. So I'm timing myself right now, 3 minutes. This is from an older piece called Commonplace Supernatural. We had a naturally flowing river near where we lived on the outskirts of a town, the Ilog Damayana. Residents would congregate here to wash laundry or go swimming and have a picnic. On a particular weekend, the first year we moved to the country, our entire extended clan decided to pack lunch and spend the day by the river. We were having the usual fun, splashing around, playing water games, when suddenly I had the urge to go pee. I whined to my mom that I had nowhere to go, and she suggested going a good ways off downstream and urinating at the river's edge there. My eldest aunt swooped in with an additional quick instruction as well. I did not want to anger the river gods, the tiny anito called Nuno sa Punso, who dwelled among the various little anthills that dotted the perimeter of the water. I was to say this short phrase before I did my business, a sort of polite request for permission. Tabi po, Nuno. I secretly scoffed, thinking that was the most ridiculous thing to do. I just went ahead and let loose on the poor anthill. Nightfall hadn't even approached that day when we got home, and I was suddenly racked by violent chills and shaking and a very high fever. It was weird, but when my aunt summoned the village herbalist to our house that evening, the first thing the healer asked my mom was whether I had asked permission of the Nuno when I had intruded upon his little abode. I reluctantly admitted that I had not. It appeared I had incurred the wrath of the tiny people. Some chanting, I assumed she was asking the little guy's forgiveness, and a paste of spit and leaves, yeah, ew, were poulticed upon my forehead, and by the following morning, my fever had subsided. This became the beginning of a long history with visiting the herbalist for various ailments and having leaves and spit and all manners of organic material smeared on me. Each time the remedies worked immediately. And don't worry, I didn't piss off any more little fey people that I know of. Oops, there's more, sorry. One more daily routine we inherited from our bygone Spanish conquistadors was to take a siesta in the afternoon, following our lunch. Everyone, no exception. Even businesses all over the town proper and our tiny village would close down for a few hours, and a lazy hush would accompany the ever-present heat. I was taking one of these delicious naps in my parents' bedroom, which had the biggest bed and a multitude of windows framed in a wrought iron outward open door, when the middle segment of the doors popped open and a branch from the garden's acacia tree wound its way in. On the very tip of the bare tree limb was a fragile girl the size of a collectible baby doll. She had milky pale skin bordering on a lavender blush, and her eyes were tilted, shiny, smiling iolites. That's it. That's my time. To be continued elsewhere.
That's not even fair. Unmute yourself, give it up a bit, man.
Wow.
Continue. Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Exactly. So make sure that you're pulling her leg or whatever next week so we can get part 2 or we can get the rest of that. Totally appreciate that. Listen, the first part is what really jumped out to me. She said where they gather to wash their laundry, right? Like, you know, where washing laundry used to be a communal type of activity, you know what I mean? But technology has forced everyone into their own little realms. You know, we got stackable washers and dryers and whatnot. Then, you know, not to want to anger the river gods, but I'm coming back at you for a line. You mentioned from our bygone Spanish conquistadors.
Yeah.
And I love that. And you said, where was that actually that you were talking about? Was it in the Philippines that you were mentioning?
Yeah, when I was about 10 years old, when we first moved there, 1982. Don't do the math, please.
Thank you for that. You know, I think a lot of people don't necessarily focus on those things, right? A lot of countries and spaces were once ruled by other factions, other countries, you know, so getting that liberation is more meaningful than some people realize. So thank you, Finn, for being a valued member of our community and keeping up with the education of the evening. All right, it's a lot of research folks got to do this evening. I'm telling you, it's a lot. All right. Before we get to the next poet, I am going to pass it off to the dopest tech in the Zoomverse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, you should be. Ron, take it away.
Thank you so much, Elemental. Glad to be helping out in the back end. I am Ron Mark Thompson, your tech assistant on the Monday and Thursday online open mics, and I also work in person in the tech booth at some of the in-person programs at the New York Poets Cafe. So glad to be following Finn Bell. Finn, it's always amazing to hear, your poetry. If you haven't followed Finn Bell yet, she runs an amazing organization, Finn Capillary. She has movie nights, workshops, poetry games, which I hosted one of those, and soon I'm going to be hosting one again. Karaoke night. She has an open mics on Thursday, very late evening. So she has something for everyone. Please check her out. Also want to give a shout out to our collaboration that we heard earlier today. Deadpan Lizzie, buy her latest, most recent book, Inner Visions. It is a treat. Daniel Fernandez, I'm going to go ahead and buy your book. Thank you so much. Please, everyone, keep creating collaborations. We love those. We really enjoy those. All right. So as Elemental mentioned, we are very fortunate in our New York Poets Cafe on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. Our heat finally has been repaired, and as of tonight, we have reopened the cafe for our regular weekly in-person programs. The Monday on-site open mic, the Wednesday night poetry slam hosted by La Brewer, and the Friday night poetry slam hosted by Jive Poetic, followed by the Twilight open mic. So if you're in the city in New York City, come on and check us out. And our calendar is full for this week. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And give me 1 second. I'm going to make it full screen. As you probably know by now, we heard us promoting it in the last few weeks. This month, Women's History Month, we are hosting online writing workshops, the Women All Writers Writing Workshop, but it's not just for women, it's for everyone, all genders, all expressions, all identities. We had none other than Finn Bell teach and facilitate last week's workshop, and 2 weeks before that, Ray Jane, our Thursday night online open mic host. As Elemental mentioned, this week it is Peggy Robles Alvarado's turn. She is an amazing poet from the Bronx, from where I'm hailing from. I've gone to some of her in-person and online writing workshops. If you've never been to one of Peggy's workshops, you do have to check her out. It is worth it. In the chat, I just pasted all of our links, including to our ticket site. And if you look at the bottom, the Women's Orator Writing Workshop, tickets can be bought for $15 per ticket, but to our online community here, on Mondays and Thursdays, we're giving you a discount where your ticket will only be $5. The code is OOM4EVA, which stands for Online Open Mic Forever. So if you use this code, your ticket will only be $5. So check out Peggy this weekend. This week on Thursday, it's online in Zoom, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And next week on March 30th, it will be our executive director, La Brua's turn. We will let you know more about that on Thursday and next Monday. Now, followed in the New York Poets Cafe on Friday, March 24th, 7 p.m. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Spanish, but you can see the flyer, the English, The Return of the Butterflies, which is an on-stage performance and presentation by La Barbie and Amplifica. Check this out. You may buy tickets online on our ticket site. Saturday, we have an open mic inside the cafe, 7:30 p.m. on March 25th, Revolutionary Tracks Live, a radical open mic. And as you can see on the flyer, we will feature our New York State Senator Kristen Gonzalez, comedian Jake Flores, and Emmy-winning poet La Brua, who also is our cafe's executive director. And La Brua will be busy Not only will she be with us featuring on Friday and at the Wednesday Night Poetry Slam, which she hosts, but as you can see on the flyer, on every last Sunday of the month, and I'm so happy that we reopened our cafe just in time for this program. Every last Sunday of the month, 8 p.m. inside the cafe, Salsa Jam with the legendary Combo Regan Ensemble. And as you can see on the flyer, La Brua will be present this Sunday as well. She will sing and dance. She can do both. She can do so many things in addition to her acting and poetry and teaching. So check us out. I went there last month, and it is a great party. The band that the Combo Regan Ensemble band actually used to play in Puerto Rico, in Old San Juan, in a cafe called the New Regan Poets Cafe. Unfortunately, that cafe got destroyed by one of the hurricanes, so we have extended our doors and our venue to their band, and since last year they've been coming here to the New Regan Poets Cafe on every last Sunday of the month. So we are very happy they are back with us again. So again, check all of that out. Again, all the links are in the chat. Voices and Vibes will return next month as well. We will give you more information about that. I also put my own personal social media as well as Elementals and Ray Chains. I'm going to give you some information about our 3-year anniversary, but before we go there, I'm going to unmute our next performer, Nemo Sam or Nemo Zoom. I believe you told me either is okay. Yep. Good. Regardless of how to pronounce your name, we love your poetry. We love what you bring here. You also, I believe, host and facilitate your own open mics, if I'm not mistaken. Please let everyone know where we may follow you, what is going on, and then go ahead with your 3 minutes.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm Nemo Soom, and you can find me on Instagram, Nemo Soom Words with the underscores in between. Or you can download my digital book, nemosoomwords.com. And I want to shout out to Mr. Speaker and Coach Ja, fellow guerrilla poets in the house. I have 2 short poems that'll come in under 3 minutes pretty easily. These are both true stories. The woman on the phone was starting to sound upset. So when she put me on hold to find a supervisor, I hung up. I stood in the silence and wondered how she couldn't see the threat. I'm not afraid of the voices who tell me to make a plan or write a letter. I hate making plans, and I love writing letters. I'm afraid of the voice that whispered when I was just a boy that I could end the suffering with what was in the kitchen drawer. For a few minutes that day, the pain had a place where it would stop. I'm scared of the voice I hear when I'm driving and crying that tells me it will all be over with a hard turn into the median. I'm afraid of the voice that spoke to me on one particularly dark day and convinced me that I could never be free except in its embrace. It scared me badly enough that I called the suicide helpline to talk to a woman who couldn't understand why I was asking for help when I didn't have a plan. He has so much potential, they said, if only he would apply himself. But I didn't. Books stayed closed, and I played imaginary games in imagined places with imaginary people who seemed whole because their mothers and fathers loved them. I wish I could say that I defied my parents all along, but there was so much shame, so much doubt. So many times my face burned at their disappointment. Oh, the power of disappointment, of guilt. I learned to fight myself, learned to hate the dreamer who looked out the window instead of working, foreshadowing the day I would stare into the distance, an unmarked test in front of me, pen down, heart broken, the day after my father left for good. My anonymity became my refuge. Odysseus said it to save his life. When he got home, he killed everyone. I say it to save my dignity. There is no one who calls me son. Someday, somebody, maybe. For now, I am no one. Thank you.
Ooh, two heavy poems, but please, everyone, unmute yourself and tell Nemo that he is someone.
Wow.
You got a home
Yeah,
here.
that's really powerful.
One of
Got a
us,
home
bro.
here.
Meaningful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, that is right. You have a home with us, whoa, yeah, we need to hear poems like this. Thank you so much, Nemo, for having the strength and the being brave to read about them. You are part of our family, so, even though you may not be, your father's son, no, you are part of our community. And regarding the first one about suicide, I too, dealt with suicide attempts in my 20s and teenager years, and I really have to say the New Regan Poets Cafe, amongst a few other organizations online, have helped me get through the pandemic and made me become a better person, better for myself, better for my community, and surviving these crazy past years that we've spent online. So thank you, Nemo. And this is a sneaky attempt to promote that 3 years ago, on March 26, 2020, our first Thursday night online open mic started with, hosted by La Brua, who at that time was not yet our cafe's executive director. She had hosted other open mics at the cafe. And that was about 2 weeks after the lockdown started, March 26, 2020. That's when we started our first Thursday night online open mic, which was followed about a week or 2 weeks in early April 2020 with the Monday night online open mic. So because at the end of this month, it will be 3 years that we've been bringing you these exciting online open mics, in addition to the in-person programs that we have brought back for the last 2 years. Ray Chain, Elemen2al, and I, we will be celebrating with you guys 3 years, which will be on Thursday, March 30th and Monday, April 3rd. And the three of us have met a little earlier today in Zoom to go a little bit over the planning, and a few things that we already planned, but we will give you more details in the next week, will be that we're going to open up the spots so that 35 of us can sign up during both Thursday and Monday. But because of that, we're going to limit each performance to 2 minutes. Now, we've done this before here for all the newcomers here, and 2 minutes may sound little. Yeah, I see propaganda. I think you were with us the last time we did that. Everyone can do it. If you can do a 3-minute poem or 4-minute poem, 2 minutes, it is possible. It was so much fun because we want to give everyone the chance to perform. And we're going to do a raffle and giveaway as well. We're thinking of either a book or some tickets giveaway for some of the New Regan Poets programs. So again, stay tuned. We will give you more details next week. So on that note, I'm going to now I'm happy to introduce our latest newcomer, and we'll be happy that she will be with us at our 3-year anniversary. Mari, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let everyone know where to follow you in case they still don't know who you are. We have 2 or 3 newcomers here today. So let them know who you are, where to follow you, and then the 3 minutes are yours. And by the way, I want to give props to everyone with the 3 minutes, even Finn Bell when she timed herself. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking to the time limit. I know it's tough, but that helps to make sure that everyone on the guaranteed list, gets a chance to speak. So on that note, Mari, go ahead, unmute yourself. It's all yours.
Okay. Hi, everybody. You can find me on Diamonds in the Abyss on Instagram. The link to my blog is also there. It's, This poem is longer than 3 minutes. A few weeks ago, I had a while ago, actually, I had started a poem and there were 2 parts. It was called First I Tried to Walk in the Footsteps of My Father. And I wanted to continue it with the second part. This is one of the hardest poems that I've ever written. And if you would allow me to share, it is going to go over, but I have to get it out. So.
Okay, I will allow you. Go ahead. It's all yours. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I had to ingest a few extra ibuprofen with hopes that my words would be less inflammatory. Then my spirit whispered, go ahead and chase them down with that leftover coquito mixed with your cup of coffee. My tortured soul knew that when the liquid truth is caffeinated, it would help me feel warmer in this cold realm, speak clearer and see better. because this journey is perilous but necessary to help me find myself and for me to understand you and for you to understand others. So I walked and walked backwards down my timeline until I started to smell smoke, and my instinct told me that I would soon find the path of my parents. I had to stop when I saw the 5-year-old version of me screaming at the side of the road. The forest is on fire, the forest is on fire, the forest is on fire, and it's destroying all of our family trees. These strange flames burn from the roots up. Some of our culture was born from slash and burn agriculture, which is supposed to cultivate the land for planting trees with strong roots. Instead, it proliferated fields and fields of deferred dreams, which sprouted an invasive species of long double-stemmed plants. I am the direct descendant of weeds that flowers like dandelions, and when the winds of fate pursed her lips together and blew, their cotton ball seeds became windborne and settled between concrete slabs, and eventually they germinated me. I continued on until I came upon a forked path. On the left, I saw a younger version of my father opening up a pack of Marlboros, and he didn't recognize me as his daughter. He said, "Hey, you look like someone I should know." And he asked me for a light. We both laughed at his joke, being that we were surrounded by fire, and he lit the cigarette from glowing embers in the atmosphere. I could tell that's where my humor and sarcasm came from. I asked, "Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and accompany me on this walk?" He walked to the rhythm of salsa music, and I loved hearing him talk. He explained to me that his family migrated to New York from Puerto Rico, and my father never knew his father, and my father's mother was his grandmother because his mother was a young woman who was still trying to figure out life with 5 kids and counting before the age of 29. And when his grandmother passed, my father said life became a blur of different city skylines, visualized from the seat of L train rides as he traveled from a Brooklyn sofa to a Bronx couch, using a plastic bag from the bodega as his luggage carrier on a week-to-week basis, never knowing what to expect next. I saw him beginning to fade, and I grabbed his arm and I asked him, "If you had a daughter, what would you name her?" He took one last long drag from his cigarette and flicked the butt to the ground, and the smile that spread across his face infiltrated my heart, and the parts that were stone started to soften. He said, "I will name her Mariana, Mariana Soto. Mari for the mother, Mary, mother of souls, and Ana for the name of the woman that I loved and whose heart I broke." And he faded away, lost in a burning forest of addiction for 20 years. Anna is not the name of my mother, and I am okay with that. He named me after the true desire in his heart, and when he looked at me, he saw the purity that he lost. In the quest to understand me, I had to understand where I came from. So first I tried to walk in the footsteps of my father, but I did not get far. There I stood alone. The younger version of me was still there too. She sat down cross-legged in the middle of my father's timeline and looked up at me and asked, "When will he come back?" 5 words as heavy as bricks thrown at me by my own innocence. They knocked me off course, and of course I knew the answer, but did I want to disappoint myself again? Then I remembered the superpower that all children have is hope. In the middle of distress, in the middle of nowhere and nothing, in the middle of this burning forest, a child can sit and still see the possibility of something reemerging alive from fire and ashes. She asked me again, this time pulling my left hand harder, "When will he come back?" I stood her up gently and said, "When people lose their path, sometimes it's better that they start off at a new point, a place that was different from where they went off track to begin with. I can't tell you exactly when, but I know where you can find him again." I pointed in the opposite direction of the road towards the future. Her eyes were so bright, illuminated with love, hope, dreams, so innocent. And for a moment, just a moment, I remembered seeing through them. I remembered how differently the world looked. My senses were heightened. I could hear the beauty in life's chaos. Despair was a symphony of violins playing in B minor, weeping in unison, carrying away tears, pain, and prayers to the clouds. The cracks in the sidewalks with strings on a blues guitar, and the footsteps of the crowd played a mix of polyrhythmic jazz octaves, sometimes in A minor, and I was enamored by it all. I remembered me. I hugged my youth. I hugged her and watched as she melted into me. I had locked her out, and there she was, just waiting patiently for me to return. I was so lost in my thoughts that it took a while for me to notice someone was watching from afar. I walked towards the figure only to be stopped by large pieces of glass in the road. I had to carefully step in between the pieces of dangerous debris. I had to climb through bushes with sharp thorns. I thought to myself, this road was not meant to be traveled, and someone tried their best to hide it. Then I lost my breath after being kicked in the stomach by my instinct. This was the path of my mother. I was now walking in the footsteps of my mother. I tried to get to her. I was bleeding. I was in pain. I had to get to her. She yelled out, please don't try to come closer. 3 large rows of barbed wire fencing kept me from fully reaching her. I watched this younger version of my mother as she sat down on the dirt road, hugging her knees to her chest with one arm and burying something with her bare hand. Her dress was torn, her feet were covered in mud. Her face looked like it was permanently tattooed with streaks of tears. The more she wipes her face, the more streaks would appear, and her tears were invisible. I dropped to my knees and said, don't you want to be free? She looked at me and said, I was left here on purpose. I had to hide in order to survive. I'm almost finished burying my feelings because I don't want to hurt anymore. This is the only way that I can make it through the path that you just came from. I got so mad. I stood up and yelled, what about love? How are you going to love? How are you going to care if you keep it all buried here? She replied, love hurts. Love hurt me. My father hurt me. This world hurts. Nothing is safe. I yelled back that you will just hurt others. You will hurt others that don't deserve it. You will destroy your own flesh and blood. She stood up and grabbed the barbed wire fence with both of her hands, and then she showed me her palms. There was no blood, not one drop. She said everything was taken from me, down to the blood that ran in my veins. She stared at me in silence and then said, you look like me. You remind me of someone I saw in the mirror many, many years ago. You look like someone I should know. And if this is so, please make sure that the curse of this path stops with you. You came from that direction, so you know what part of me is left. With tears in my eyes, I watched her fade into the burning forest. In a rage, I screamed out all the pain I had endured for years and years. It echoed through the burning forest and blew out all the flames. Engulfed in nothing but smoke, I just stood there and cried, because for the first time I understood that my path was my own, and it was the path that I was meant to travel alone. As I approached the start of my path, a woman stood before me. She was an elder spirit that I only saw from time to time in my dreams. Her form changes, but the warmth in her eyes and smile are always the same. She put her hands on my shoulder and pointed to the sky and said, child, this is where you came from. First, I heard the devil betting God and all the other angels that I would not succeed. And then I watched these beautiful beings conversate while they crafted me with the stars. They said, we won't give her regular eyes of man. We'll give her the eyes of a guardian angel. That way she will always see the beauty in the rough and the love in the swamp of hate and hope hidden under despair. We will gift her the power of imagination that never dulls. Even as she ages, she will be special, she will be strong, and she will carry the messages that need to be heard and felt by the souls of all those in need. And I saw this light pass onto me in the womb, and I watched my body form and my heart beating and my first cry when I was born. I continue to walk down my timeline, and the memory of the beatings I endured didn't hurt as much. And the verbal abuse damning my existence didn't cut as deep, because now I understood my purpose was never to suffer. My purpose was to shed light and conquer darkness. And I only knew this because first I had to walk in the footprints of my father. Poem.
Yes, yes, it was. And I know how difficult that was to write that. So I'm just going to let it just for a second. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Marty. Give it up for Marty.
Sorry it was so long, guys. I'm so sorry.
Let it in.
That
was amazing.
That was. You're one of my favorite people. You really are.
Thanks, CC.
Listen. I told y'all this is the greatest community in the world. I think that we would have been remiss had we not given you the time to do just that. I know you mentioned how difficult it was, but thank you for sharing that with us. And listen, if they cared to know or care to see what you're doing, trust me, they could not be more proud of you after what you just did, right? That's about taking your power back, right? That's about stepping into your parents' footsteps, but being twice the parent they were, twice the person they were. That's what it's about. It's about growth. It's about evolution. And you have done that. Thank you. Thank you, Marty, for all of that energy, right? This is what we're here for. All right, folks, this is what we're here for. This is the work, y'all. All right. All the prompts that we come across, all the things that we like to play with and write, this is the work, right? It's all in preparation to write poems like that. Thank you, Marty. Thank you. All right, real quick, let me shout out a couple of folks before we move on. I see a Mason Marker in the building. Appreciate you for coming through. Terry Rose Jertson is here. Always good to see Terry. Denisha is here. I saw Mako Angel. Appreciate you coming through. And Harris Chandri. If I mispronounced your name, my apologies. But we do appreciate y'all for coming through and hanging out with us. All right, folks. Let's get back into this. All right, coming up next, this gentleman usually stays up pretty late to hang out with us. But I don't know if he just like he maybe tips the sun or something, so he can maybe just get a little bit of light. So we can always make sure we hear him and see him correctly. The one and only lantern carrier is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know how they can catch you and find you online. Lantern, it's always good to see you. Take it away.
Thank you. Getting up my poem and put the details in the chat. I think I'm about ready to start now. I burnt the silken raiment of my desires to enter your temple, even as you took away the crackles and timidity that slipped into my emotions like stealth tornadoes, daring to stain my self-esteem and decorum. Now I glide with grace as stately as a swan. You are my queen, woven from a kaleidoscope of rainbows and sunsets, with the kind of magic and allure that would make Shakespeare blush. Jasmines offer their fragrance in Zen-like supplications. Your voice is like a lyrical lute, 1,000 times sweeter than Rumi and Dylan combined. Such is your poise, a Nubian goddess in deep scarlet, symbolizing the vibrancy and dynamism of life. You stand on the crest of ancient greatness and majesty, the dance of a radiant Cinderella, revealing your grace and charisma. You are an indigo vastness of life's healing rays, tall and towering over the stony, silvery shadows of temptations, immersing yourself in your own true beauty. You drink the moon's effulgent glow, soaked in the golden sparkle of love's candescence and glimmering delight. I blend with the magnificence of your luster like sunrise, ceaselessly basking in an unspeakable joy, akin to that felt by the mystic Teresa of Avila. No more the pain of past despair, gathering countless shadows to veil my horizons, but the verdure of Whitman's eloquence, an awakening of the illustrious dawn. Lost in the aroma of thy love, I see a spotless elegance and unspoken brilliance, your smile remaining speechless like infinity. I wish for the swift feet of an ostrich, the soaring flames of phoenixes to follow you, even to the constellations and beyond. How grandiose, my immortal lover. Even though flower blossoms par excellence, they sometimes remain unseen, hidden in groves and orchards. Not you, my lover and gardener, for you carry the key that opens all gateways to the garden of my soul. I was once fettered to sadness, loneliness, and fear, with the red strands of anxiety and woes tugging at my neck like a dog's leash. But I walked with purpose in the presence of griots who interpreted the stars, sensed erupting avalanches, and told me a million stories. I studied the tales of the Grimm brothers, Anansi the Spider-Man, and other such folklore, not knowing that one day my heart would be used as a chalice filled with the sweet wine of magical tales to make the sleeping beauty pale into insignificance. Now I know why jilted lovers try so hard to let go of the broken pieces of their emotions. Your love has become so glued to my existence that I cannot breathe without you. I am the river of your ocean, and we have flowed into each other to become one. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
That dude does this thing. Oh my goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Lantern Carrier.
Oh yeah. Great job. Great job.
Does it again.
That's for your ears and your words. Amazing.
Hey, that's my mother in the background for Mothering Sunday and Mother's Day.
Oh,
Right.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I figured that. That's beautiful.
That's just thinking beautiful. All right, that's just thinking beautiful, man. Like, I hate that I didn't come up with that first, Lantern. Damn. That was really dope, Lantern. Again, the way that you always deliver your poems, and I've worked with you before, and it's just the way that you do it, right? Basking in an unspeakable joy, like with Whitman's eloquence. Like this dude, I walk with purpose and presence of grills. Like, come on, who says shit like that? Lantern Carrier does, because clearly he's carrying a whole lot of poetry and insight in his pen. Thank you, Lantern, for being a valued member of our community and staying up crazy hours to rock out with us. Always a pleasure, Lantern. All right, coming up next. Haven't seen this poet in a few weeks, but I am glad that she is back in the building, power fro intact. The one and only Jennifer Velez is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Jens, great to see you. Floor is yours.
Hi. You can find me on Instagram at princess_homegirl. And I usually just get right into it because I'm nervous. Okay. So it's called Dreams. I have 2 poems today. It's called Dreams. One's Dreams. I'm not living my dreams. I'm living in my dreams. And the sand is building up for sure. I make an offering to my ancestors, then turn away. So there's nothing more that I can do. I wait for you. Mostly me. I'm a dark siren cast out to sea, waiting for your ship to sail by. I got a song for you, baby, that'll make you cry and wish you never came here. I was found floating in the atmosphere on a turbulent wave of smoke with a Dutch and a rubber duck. I threw myself against the waves and now I'm stuck. I want to pass it to the left, but you are now so far from where we left. Off, soft, descent from a cliff, down a pearl waterfall. So I sat by the river with my spliff. I am the mermaid and you are my prince. I drown in the other world for this. Okay, and now I have, thank you. I have it's short. It's called Deals with the Devil for a Scent of Sweat. A taste was all you needed to leave a table prepared for you. A crumb of white bread. Everyone has their price, surprisingly cheap. Deals with the devil for a sense of sweat. They don't even haggle. Shame is an empty plate. Self is at a price for the taking. No receipt needed. That's it. Thank you.
Ooh, no receipt needed indeed. Goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Jennifer Valette.
Thanks,
Right.
guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Oh man, listen. It's I love that, right? You got your flow in, right? She said, I'm living in my dreams, right? And I just, to me, that is such an empowering phrase to anyone, right? Because they can see you, right? Enjoying yourself, living your life, spitting your poetry, living in your dreams. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. Really. I don't know if you came up with that as you were sitting by the shore with your spliff, but it was dope. And then the title of the last piece, oh my goodness, deals with the devil for scent of sweat. Damn, that's almost a poem by itself. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming through. A valued member of our community. Make sure you're plugging into what they do. All right, coming up next. This is why this gentleman's name was in blue. Because I get to yell at this cat. All right. We have a tradition in this community for the newer members. We have a tradition in this community. It started a few years back where this gentleman, it was actually on a Christmas show. And this gentleman decided, hey, people hear me all the time. I am going to gift my spot to someone who we haven't heard. That night, we coined it, Great Scott, we have a pleasant gesture. And now we get to hear from the one and only Great Scott is in the building. Unmute yourself, man. It's been too damn long, Scott Pleasant. Great to see you, man. You know what it is. Take it away.
What's going on, fellas? I know it's been a minute, but this is like home, man. You know, like you could leave and you know you always got a spot to come back to. So you can follow me on Instagram at I am Poet 33. If you ever wondered why certain stories are told and told again, remember a story is only as good as the process, and that process involves listening. Now, you see, I once wrote a poem on the palm of my hand, took a deep breath, and blew onto the window pane in front of me that was akin to the sky. Watched the clouds capture these words, and when full, they rain letters down onto the sidewalks, puddling the pages of our journey. An improbable journey, a story of time, a continual work in progress, constructed by cast of footsteps and soft concrete, a hearing to the souls of many souls, leaving a moist trail of unsettled narratives in a winter, I wonder what happened land. As seasons merged, I heard these footsteps across the city, carrying our story beneath the feet of frozen vocals, yearning to defrost onto an audience unbeknownst of the storm that was heading their way. Words occasionally bright, reciting through a lens of trepidation, as all the world is but a stage, they say, of various sizes and desires, wrapped in blankets of insecurities that take residence on a long-term lease in our minds. And we hold close to the chest our best, led to a stoop, a step on a platform, a stage, enraged or engaged, but somehow we're married to an ear to take that dare and share a word, a thought, an emotional collective called story. So now we preach a formation of condensation of words that continue to rise, sensing a sensation within a body between legs, twisting stomachs out through our mouth, allowing the natural process of storytelling to continue. As all words will once again rise into the clouds and reveal as rain, tapping on the sidewalks of our improbable journeys, allowing the good poems, the good stories to continue to be told. For aren't we all just a story waiting to be read, a keyless journal held in the hand of life, and a poem of twisted metaphors worn as a bracelet on the wrist of interpretation? And once again, I ask, are you listening? Remember, I once wrote a poem on the palm of my hand. took a deep breath, and blew. And peace.
Now you see why I yell at this cat. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Scott Pleasant.
Man, we had best cross paths on Governor's Island. We had best cross paths on Governor's Island. Damn, Scott.
I'm
Great shot.
so glad you did not give away your spot today and we got to hear you. It's been a while since we last saw each other in person. You have to come back, to one of the poetry events. Thank you so much for signing up and performing.
Man, listen, great Scott has been around. All right, he's been around for quite some time. He is a poet's poet and will let you know that he feels what you do. So thank you, Scott. Again, it's always good to see you. And then the cat just happens to be, incredible with his words, puddling the pages of our journey. Like, come on, man. Like leaving a moist trail of narratives. Come on, Scott. Like this is what I'm talking about. Messages through time, right? It's just allowing the natural process of storytelling to continue. This dude is so bananas with it. Thank you, Scott. Don't be a stranger, man. Shout out to the missus too. Always appreciate how much support she gives you. I know y'all team. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Mainstay, man, for real. All right, coming up next, a newer member of our community shared her daughter Jules with us last week. Do appreciate that. We are looking forward to what you have to share with us this evening. The one and only Marianne Teft is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Great to see you. Take it away.
Thank you. Nice to see you too, Elemental. Thank you so much. And nice to see you all poet friends tonight. I am going to share one short poem with you, and it is for each of you, and it's called Storyteller. You did not ask for the shoulders of the elephant to bear the weight of pitiless centuries. You did not seek to rise above the plains like the giraffe that knows what only clouds may know. You did not consent to the hide of the sequoia to withstand stinging salt, cringing heat, torments of insects and unbridled fire. You did not beg for the heart of the lion to lead where none will follow. You did not petition for a throat to open wide as the pouch of a pelican, nor a voice to ring from it like more crisply than 1,000 copper bells. You did not invite hands that hold the pen that cannot back down from the righteous rhyme. You are every ancient curse, and by them we are blessed. Thank you.
By them we are blessed indeed. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you, Elemental.
Yeah, Marianne. That was
awesome.
Wow.
Thank you, Marianne. Good to see you always.
Thank you.
That was
Pleasure's mine.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Very beautiful.
Goodness. Listen, this community, it never ceases to amaze me, right? I was not expecting that. I mean, all of y'all are just really, really doing a number on my brain cells this evening. And I appreciate that, really, because again, this is what it's about. She said they bear the weight of pitiless centuries. Damn it. Damn it. You did not beg for the heart of a lion. Damn. Of course not. You didn't beg for it, right? When you know you got it, whoo, that roar is mean. Ugh. Thank you, Marianne, for bringing all of that great poetry with us. To us. Listen, make sure you're plugging in with Marianne and all they do. Valued member of our community, folks. Telling you, community's continuing to grow. Coming up next, this poet is a mainstay. This poet right here doesn't really matter what mood they're in, but their poetry is always fire. The one and only Vex Lex in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Always great to see you, Lex. Take it away.
Always good to see you too, Elemental. If you guys like what you hear, you can follow me on Instagram at Vexed Lex Poetry. This piece is called Spellcaster. My mind is an overactive cauldron where I trade potions for poetry, blend bashful metaphors into well-versed machinations. It is my safest form of witchcraft, but by far my deadliest form of survival. I summon words and upon arrival, strip them of their properties, toss them into this concoction, conjure up spirits of poems forgotten, cleansing them of their rotten core, words that never reached the page, lines that could not quite fit in the mouths of tied tongues, manifesting the creation of something worth hearing on an endless loop. I cycle through different stories to tell because there is evil to repel. Storytelling is more than just art. It is a continuous spell that lives through you. We are the spellcasters of this generation and must do good by our audience. Your tongue is your wand, so I suggest that you use it wisely. Thank you.
Spellcasters, indeed. Oh shit! Unmute yourself. Give it up for Backslash.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
spellcasters
All
of this
right.
generation.
Yeah. Yep.
Goodness, listen. Oh my goodness. She said we are the spellcasters of this generation, right? Your tongue is your wand. Be careful what you conjure, y'all. Oh my goodness. She said she trades potions for poetry. My safest form of witchcraft? Are you kidding? Are you kidding, Lex? Come on, Lex. A mainstay, and clearly a spellcaster in our community. Appreciate you, Lex, for coming through with all that heat. Woo-hoo. Goodness. Let's keep it going, y'all. We are coming close to the end. Coming up next, a newer member of our community. I believe this is the second time we are getting a chance to hear this poet. First came through, brought an incredible poem, and I'm hoping they are ready for the second edition. The one and only Noura Abdel is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Great to see you. Floor is yours.
Thanks. Good to see everyone again this week too. Yeah, upfront, this poem is a little bit of the topic of codependency, but it's also just a little cheesy vibe. But I was looking forward to sharing this with you all week. So here it goes. This one's called Melatonin Gummies. Melatonin gummies let me taste you again, to dream of our nights where the sun melted into the stars, how I'd cling to your arms so tight that I remember I once drew blood, but you never flinched. You knew I had no way to tell you, that I could only show you that I wanted more. But now you look at me and tell me I started this war. It's everything you never said that told me what I needed to know. We used to admire the scratches down our backs, that a manifestation of everything left unsaid, our unspoken truth of falling in love because we had nothing better to do. You took a bite out of my heart and didn't savor the taste, so you came back for seconds. This time I'm not letting samples go to waste. We used to, you know what, in every mirror we saw, and now I can't bear to look at you at all. So what was the point? We didn't want to come out of this hating each other, but calling it a relationship. Oof, do you mind not telling my mother? So I walked away. I wish I just Ubered to JFK and never looked back. Now 30 days have passed and I'm not on any tarmac. My dream destination is myself. Tonight, the sun will melt into the night all over again. My melatonin gummies have expired, but I finally don't look tired. I lie on my own back and cling to my own arms this time. Neither one of us is bleeding, but this time I'll be the one healing. Thank you.
I'll be the one healing, indeed. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Noura.
Yeah, my dream
Killer
destination
closing
is
line.
myself.
Ooh, nice.
Excellent line. Wow.
I keep telling y'all, right? The greatest community on the planet, man, and folks continue to come through and prove me right, right? Noura just jumped in there and did the exact same thing, right? She said, you look at me and tell me that I started this war. You know, the one line that just rung so loud with me. You said, the unspoken truth of us falling in love because we had nothing else to do. You know, man. But when you get to the other side of that, now you can actually write this piece and ask the right questions, right? Thank you, Nuda. Listen, a newer mainstay of our community. This line, the sun will melt into the night again. Damn it. Why didn't I think of that line? Melt into the night? Come on. Thank you, Nuda. Make sure you are plugging in with Nuda and all they do. Hope to see you back next week. All right, coming up next, this cat came through last week, didn't get a chance to rock, but went on Thursday night and dropped it. As you know, as I'm speaking about Thursday night, shout out, Thunderlung is in the building. Make sure you are plugging in with the Queen, Ray Jane. All right, this brother came through, man. I've seen this cat move around some different places and spaces. Clearly, he's got some guerrilla poets in the building. Listen, I was there on Thursday when I got a chance to hear this cat do what he do. Listen, welcome to Monday nights, man. I told you, bring it all. So I'm glad you brought it. The one and only Coach Josh Smalls is in the building. Yo, unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online and plug into your incredible community, man. Take it away.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the love, man. This platform is always amazing, man. So thank you for that. The fastest way to find me, Coach Josh Smalls on Instagram. Very easy to find, just the way you see it up there. Very easy to find. And I could talk about all that instead of taking up all the time for somebody else. I'm going to time myself on this poem because I don't know how long it is. I'm reading from my last book based on homeless awareness. It's called On Compassion. So the title of this poem is called When You See Love. I'm not sure if it was a full moon or the day an orange sky curtained the 5 o'clock traffic. All I remember was his face, the eyes that claimed God's spirit without a voice. I remember the way his hands hung like soup bowls at the ends of his wrist. From where I stood, I could see last night's teardrops crusted against his smile. Sleep hadn't found him easy. You can tell by the luggage of the dark halos holding his pupils hostage. I would say the same for his companion, the friend with her head cushioned against whatever belonging she could find. She laid still, like an infant treasure tucked against her mother's first promise. I've passed this corner for a long time. The same cardboard boxes and empty beer cans lining the brick wall, and the hardest part is turning away, pretending like everyone else cannot feel their pulse. Whenever walking past a human, with skin crusted between soiled clothes and crusted concrete, how can a smile find its space? Claim a spirit filled with nothing but wonder and maybes, hoping a better day means warm bread or something soft to coat an empty stomach. See, I've passed this block a number of times, remembering the tan colors and matching plastic bags, the same plastic spoons used when slurping the one-drop egg soup he loved to bring her. I known this love for a long time, and it was always bigger than first dates and wedding bells. Those that never felt divorce or high school sweethearts that found tomorrow morning on the same pillows. Some only know love only on a big screen, pictured through someone else's imagination. I have seen love at first sight, standing on this corner, passing the same couple every day for years. And I'm not sure if it was a full moon or the day the orange sky curtained the 5 o'clock traffic. But all I know is I saw love, and two hearts who live love are much more than bread and water alone. Home.
Bro, that's how you show up and show the crowd. Unmute yourself, give it up for Josh. Whoa!
Hey, he hosts some dope spaces, y'all. Like,
Oh,
follow him. He
gorgeous.
hosts some sweet spaces.
It's
Way to go, coach. Way to go, coach. Great job.
Like,
It's
listen,
amazing. It's amazing, almost speechless here. But what a great theme you gave, Elemental. Day. Look at what you've done to all of our poets. So thank you, Coach. Charles Moores. For reading this. Wow.
For real. Look. It's stuff like that. Again, that's why I love our community, right? Said the eyes that claim God's spirit without a voice. Last night's tears crusted on his smile. Come on, man. Hoping a better day means warm bread. Like, come on, man. Like, see, this is what I love about poets, right? We can write about the things, right? We can write about love and anger and passion and retribution and all those things. But like I mentioned about Mahdi's poem, right? When you write about the things that you have to write about, that you need to write about, it comes out like that, right? Because everybody can feel the energy emanating from that poem. Appreciate you, Job, for coming through with that. Make sure you are plugging in with that cat and letting them know, hey, it's Sunday. Sign up, homie, so you can be here on Monday night. Appreciate you. Again, our community continues to grow with some incredible new voices. Oh, my goodness. Telling y'all, I keep telling y'all, Monday night is the hypest night of the week. It's the best night of the week, too. All right. Again, we coming down the final stretch, folks. Let's get to it. Coming up next, man. This, brother, I'm telling you, that the night is going to continue. If history is any indication of the future, here's some more lessons coming at you from a bona fide professor, whether you're in the classroom or outside the classroom. Propaganda Poet is going to put something on your mind this evening. Unmute yourself, Prop. Let the folks know where they can find you, man. Do it.
Too kind. Like all of you. Ron, you nailed it. Like, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Nuyo. So, like, y'all, dude, Nemo, we got you. Like, it's this, and Mr. Speaker, dude, Black Wall Street. Holy shit. I need to have that in my class. Okay. Anyway, so this is actually a song. So I'm going to try and do it for the first time without music and see if I can pull it off. This is called To Live and Die in Oz. Strip away that road they say is paved with gold, you'll find it ain't so pretty. Vision's gone gold blind trying to find the Emerald City. If only we could look beyond the mirror and find that one true omniscience. Finally, perhaps I could collect on all of my 3 wishes. If they only had a brain, perhaps they wouldn't be quite so insane, and all of our humanity wouldn't be bleeding down a drain if we only had a brain. If they only had a heart, perhaps Civil War II wouldn't have to start, and our future generations wouldn't be falling apart if we only had a heart. If they only could be brave, perhaps we wouldn't have to dig so many graves, and maybe there would actually be something left to save if we only could be brave. Mr. Wizard, I don't want to be an American anymore, but there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Why can't we just leave well enough alone? The day is going to come when we're going to have to atone, and you're not going to be able to just sit there and stare at your plasma screen, 55-inch screen, or hide behind some tinted windows of some monster SUV. And if you really want to be the big man, maybe you'll have 2, but if you're having trouble getting yours, just find someone else to screw. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. But I think back to a time when we all had our own personal magic, and people didn't stumble around with eyes so dark because life just wasn't so tragic. And if only we could find the courage to speak the words that really needed to be said, maybe we wouldn't be leaving our children a planet that's already been left for dead. Now more than ever, we have to work together and weave this worldwide magic spell. Because after all, don't we all have the same old sad stories to tell? Thank you for listening. Thank you for encouraging my behavior. Thank you for having these spots where we can stay alive and the history can stay alive and the human condition can stay alive, because they're trying to fucking kill us, folks, and we can't let that happen. So peace, love, poetry.
Unmute yourself, give it up for Propaganda Poet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're woke.
Wow.
Yeah.
See y'all at Governor's Island.
Peace, love, poetry.
That ended this did me apart right there, Prop. It was just like, weave this worldwide. That he said, peace, love, and poetry. I'll burn your shit down with peace. Nah, I really, man. I love pieces that do that, right? I love pieces that take things that we know and put them in a piece of poetry blender and it comes out magnificent. You want to call them magnificent margaritas? I don't know. Monday nights, that's what I'll call them. Said if we had a heart, Civil War II wouldn't have to start. Only had a brain. Like, come on. Say, Mr. Wizard, I don't want to be an American. Listen, it would be nice if we all recognize our own personal magic and actually conjured some spells to heal this place, this planet. You know what I mean? And I believe that is what Monday night is. It's a conduit for healing in so many ways, right? And I'm going to continue to make it just that. Thank you, Prop, Nemo, everybody who brought their true emotions this evening. Listen, this is our family, all right? This is our community, and we will always look after one another. You are not alone. If you need support, never, ever hesitate to reach out. You will always get in touch with someone. All right, last three folks coming down the home stretch, y'all. All right, coming up next, this is another newer voice, all right? I believe last week was their first time coming through. Believe they got the bug because they are back for round two. The one and only Aliza is back in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you. It is great to see you again. Floor is yours.
Hey, thank you so much. Yes, I'm Aliza. Last name is Palgon, Palgon. I don't really do much on Instagram, but I've got some stuff on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. That's about it. Not that much digitally, virtually yet. But good to be here again. So this poem is called, oh, and I do want to apologize. I've had my video off and haven't been participating much in the chat. I just have a headache and the light's bothering me. So I'm just kind of keeping it low key. Loneliness when you're a poet. It's the title of this one. It's always in the moments you don't expect. A couple passing me in the parking lot in front of the coffee shop, and a wave of something unfamiliar and heavy sloshes in my gut. Am I lonely? A tree surrounded by a wooden table, custom built, a dead tree nailed into its grandmother, an ache in something deeper than my chest. A tiny baby girl pulls herself up the steps at the playground, her parents lost in conversation on the bench. She slides down, my muscles tense and ready to jump. She is fine, smiles at no one and lurches toward the steps again, so close to falling, so full of trust that she won't, or that it won't matter. A light behind my eyes. In that place where laughter is born, I don't know if I believe in God. At least not the one they talked about. I do believe in music, in the night sky, in caterpillars, in the ladybug that cleared away all the aphids on my milkweed plant, in aphids, though I don't like them. I believe in the breath I took last night, in that moment when I admitted I felt embarrassed, in embarrassment. I believe in being human, in a bird cage left wide open in Maya Angelou, in the lizard on the glass of the window 2 feet away, in the sensation that spreads through my body and mind when I realize everything is something I am allowed to notice. It's like a secret superpower I never knew I had. This gift of the poet, this claiming of unexpected and tiny moments as my own. Thank you.
I'm not gonna yell. So, the whole headache thing. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Aliza. Yeah.
Beautiful writing.
Beautiful work, and thanks for
Beautiful.
coming back.
We're gonna yell on your behalf. That was amazing. Please keep coming back as many times as you can make it. Okay.
Absolutely. Listen, Aliza, this is again, this is the work. You know, these are, you know, when you don't feel like it, you know what I mean? But the poem has to come out. You know what I mean? You've put in the work, and you deserve to let the world let you know that we appreciate what you do, right? Like you said, you do believe in music, right? Listen, you believe in the breath you took last night, right? As we do too, right? But we also believe in you, right? Like you said, the bird cage is left wide open. So fly high as you can, and make sure you find yourself here on Monday nights. A new member of our community. Thank you, Eliza, for hanging out with us. All right, folks, again, coming down to it, last two poets of the evening. First off, we have a new voice, right? And we had a slight issue with the email thing today, but we were able to work it out. So coming at you, Katie, for the first time, please unmute yourself. Where are you located on this planet Earth?
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Gallery. I'm actually Long Island, so that's why I'm video chatting in. I've been really just kind of feeling alone and needing a sense of community and just needing to feel connected, especially through art and poetry. So last night, like 4 a.m., I was just like looking up open mic poetries, and this just spoke to me. I've actually been to New York years ago with my cousin. We went for, I think it was a one-woman show. It was amazing, and that was so inspiring to me. So the fact that it kind of like full circle to be here right now. So I'm just feeling very grateful and very honored to be in the presence of so many talented writers and artists.
Listen, the honor is ours. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. We are looking forward to hearing all your incredible work. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I have one, maybe two. They're pretty short, so we'll see how it goes. The first one I wrote, I'm gonna share, is called Gymnastics. Okay, gymnastics. Love is a mental gymnastics with stiff muscles and torn ligaments, bandaging up only to get hurt again. It's all fucked up. They say that love comes from within. Well, if that's the case, why do I bend over backward for yours? Maybe. Love isn't good for me. Makes my head cloudy and my judgment shitty. Makes me think irrational thoughts. Like, what if this is real? What if it's not? Stupid to admit, but it keeps me up late at night, thinking, how do you see me? Am I still the most beautiful person you've ever seen? When I'm not all done up and used, would you still feel the same in the morning? Have you had your fill? Am I all you ever wanted? Sad part is, I know the answer. And I carry on with the ugly truth in hopes one day it could change into something beautiful that we created. But love means too much for one person to hold while the other lets it slip away. Gymnastics. That was one. And if you don't mind, if I could just read another one, if that's not too, that's okay. I had it. And well, of course, I have so many different poetry books. This one. The thing is, I'm broken, emotionally beaten and battered, mentally weak enough to hold on to the pain someone else caused me. Let go. Easy to say, hard to practice. When I was once left without notice, hiding to feel safe, embarrassed for others to see, the I told you so's. I'd rather tell them to go choke. At least I followed my heart, I tell myself. What happens when it can't lead anymore? When it breaks? Who looks like the dumbass then? Not me, I tell myself. Because at least I know how to pick it up and put it back together. Worlds may crumble around you, but you cannot fall. The life you once loved can return. The scariest moments in life are the most profound. But we cannot let it define us because it will ultimately confine us. That's all I have. Thank you.
Again, that's how you show up and show out. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Katie Gallery.
Coming back.
Welcome.
Coming back.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This is my first time ever doing this, so it was like feels so good. Thank
Well,
you.
as the host will tell you, your Mondays are messed up because you now have to keep coming back every Monday and Thursday. If you
I think
do.
my Mondays just got a whole lot better.
Hey, you have stumbled upon the best night of the week. As I continue to mention, with the greatest community in the world, it doesn't get much better than this. On the other side, though, there is Thursday. There's Thunderlung Thursday. All right. So again, Listen, Monday and Thursday, find yourself at both. But like you heard Ron say, you messed up because now your Monday nights are right here. Welcome to our community. Thank you for showing up the way that you did. All right. And gymnastics are about bandaging up just to be hurt again. All right. It really is. Right. Would you still feel the same in the morning? Maybe. Some people do, some people don't. Right. But you carry on with the ugly truth. The ugly truth of that is too many damn people carry around the ugly truth without saying what needs to be said, right? But that's what we're here to do, right? To speak the unspoken truth. Thank you, Katie. Welcome to our community. We are looking forward to hearing more of your incredible work. All right, folks, we have reached the closer. And of course, the closer is no slouch this evening. He continues to come through with his brand of poetry, with his performance, with his energy, with his efforts. And we are always, always happy and gracious enough to be blessed by this cat's work. The one and only CC Arshagra is in the building, the closer this evening. CC, you know what it is. Let the folks know where they can find you, man. Take it away.
Okay, I don't on all this internet stuff. I'll just pop this little monster load of stuff, and you can do what you want with it. That's just too much going on. This is all that really matters. Is that without the open mic, we're all dead. I wrote this book 20 years ago. It's republished. It's brand new. The names on the back of this book, which I usually don't push, is Jeff Robinson, Tony Vandermeer, PhD, African Studies Department from University of Massachusetts, Melissa Goodrum gave a quote from the back of this book. She's a local New Yorker. Ron Whitehead, beat poet laureate of the night. David Amram, and if you don't know who he is, and Kate McQuaid from the Boston Globe. And I'm going to share this end of the night. Not simply heard, it is received. It resonates. A ritual sharing, a moment of profound community that only the bare truth masked in the vessel of artful lyrics can ignite. That's from a Boston Globe art critic. So, and I'm a nobody from nowhere going nowhere fast. And I just got to give it up to Marty for kicking her soul naked like that. 20 years ago, when I wrote those first books, I started manuscripts that keep me busy the rest of my life. One of them was called The Shakespeare Killings, where the Shakespeare Killing, the first, the second, the third, the fourth. The first one was long ago, so terribly long ago, the first Shakespeare killing was a suicide. The second one was the Shakespeare Killing. The second Shakespeare Killing had forsaken the fine art of writing, and that goes on. I'm going to read this next one. It's short, and that's it because it's on theme. The third and the fourth Shakespeare Killing. In fact, the third and the fourth Shakespeare Killing remains a myth. A tale all but lost and nearly forgotten, except for this one still echoing tale told by an old dusty miner who died just moments after he said, I once became lost for seamless days on end in a labyrinth of mind shafts within the mouth of the world. There was nothing but dead ends, forks, and different ways that went nowhere and then found themselves lost again. Yet in the midst of this lost time, all alone with my one mind, I did come upon two seated, slouched over skeletons. Each sat in a chair, a table between them. On the table, a chessboard sat still in a stalemate. Hereby, what seemed like I wrote this 20 years ago. Hereby, what seemed like a time machine seized, I saw what you'd call all the writing on the wall. There, on the cave wall, between their eye sockets, was scribed the demise of the two. Quote, this is war, unquote. The text went on. It came to be known to this man and me that the world cannot stand more than one Shakespeare in it. We have come here to settle this. Which of us is he? Say goodnight, poets.
That's how you close it, baby. Unmute yourself. Give it up for CCR Shagro.
Yeah, great closer.
All right, CC.
Good night, Cece.
Great way to end.
The word show. It's just a
Oh,
teaser. The word show. It's a podcast.
okay.
That's it. No more information.
He said the word show. That's all you gonna get.
Give it a month or two.
Listen, this is what we're here for, right? To connect with everyone, for everyone to bring in their things, man, right? Listen, you are sitting amongst some of the most talented people in the world. I think all of you would be kind of crazy not to connect with these folks, right? This is our community, right? You don't know who these people are and what they do beyond these screens. Connect with people, y'all. Connect, all right? We're about building community. We are going to continue to strengthen it in every damn week that we are in this building, y'all. Listen, to every person who touched the mic tonight, from Eddie to CC, everyone, I truly thank you for hanging out with us, for staying with us all night. Listen, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. You're here with us every week. It means something. I appreciate you. I love all y'all. I'm gonna let y'all out of here, and we're gonna end the night like this. Until we meet again, may this energy we conjured this evening supercharge the rest of your week. Take this power, inspire others, energize creativity as we all hope to do through the spirit of Miguel Agarin. Your voice is appreciated, necessary, and always valuable in this space. Thank you for sharing it with us. On behalf of the greatest community in the world, it has truly been a pleasure spending Monday night with y'all. Until next week, peace and blessings.